So the video was actually taking my voice, so now I'm going to continue. So here I am, I'm in the middle of the forest. Where am I exactly? I am in Barroso, Brazil. A very small town in the state of Minas Gerais. It's my fourth time coming into Brazil, and it's my first time in Minas Gerais. So I was going for a run, and I just felt like I really need to start getting my voice out there more, because the one thing that is the most important to me is this project that I call Advancement of Civilization Effort. So my name is Alix Claire Erie, and my initials are ACE, and the name of the project is also ACE, Advancement of Civilization Effort. So it's a huge, futuristic even type of project that I intend on working on for the rest of my life. Let the truck go by. And the website for that is advancementofcivilizationeffort.org. And I've put a lot of stuff on there already, but it still has a lot of development to do. I still have a lot of things that I've written, but have never actually had the chance to put them on the site yet. So let me tell you a little bit about my own story. I grew up in Louisiana, in the United States, in the country, the first half of my childhood and adolescence until I was about 10 years old. I grew up in the country, and I always had a very strong inclination towards spirituality and esotericism. I started having spiritual experiences when I was very, very young, and I could remember things. I can remember things happening even when I was in the womb of my mother and things like this. And eventually, when I started being very, very depressed at a very young age. And the first time that I tried to commit suicide or started, experimenting with suicide and death was when I was 11. And I tried to drown myself in the bathtub, which I knew wasn't going to work, but I just wanted to see how far I could push it. Because I was very sensitive, hypersensitive, and I always had, I felt things and I understood things more than most people, or at least what seemed like being more to most people, or at least that I cared. It seemed like I cared about things more than most people. Injustice and subtle forms of violence and subtle forms of lying and stealing and things that most people might not really notice or never even think about were things that really upset me already at a very young age. And I just felt like the world was really, it just hurt me a lot on many levels. I had a very difficult childhood growing up. I love my parents very much. I don't see them very often because they live in Louisiana, and I don't really go back there very often for several reasons. And I've decided to kind of leave and go into an alternative kind of lifestyle. Now, I spent a lot of my adolescence very depressed, and I was using substances. I used not so much alcohol, but I used a lot of painkillers, medical prescription painkillers, as well as antidepressants, LSD, marijuana, ecstasy, and eventually mushrooms as well. And it was a form of escapism, but I was also very curious about what existed. I was a natural scientist, and I was also very good in school and was in the math club and the engineering club and doing things with NASA and in the gifted program, and so I was a good student as well. And then eventually I dropped out of school 3 months before I was supposed to graduate. I had a lot going on in my life, a lot going on in my personal life, a lot in my health life. I was very ill from all of the medications that I was on. I was also very ill because I had a surgery done on my spine. I have a very long story. And I moved out of the house. I moved out of the house when I was 17, and then I dropped out of school 1 week later. I moved in with my boyfriend that was also using drugs with me, and he was 5 years older than me, and he was mildly abusive